what this thing is by feeling or by even sensing it, by observing and reflecting. So if they see me do something with it, like eat it, they're like, oh, so that's something edible. By doing, so actually maybe some of the villagers would come and like start playing with it or throw it or break it, etc. So when we go this primal, when we go this primitive to an idea of learning something, like you can imagine so many kids. You put something in the middle, and most of the time, a kid would not know that a toy is a toy unless they get to enjoy it a little bit and play with it, right? So what we're going to do this semester, and we're going to go back to this map, let's get to the next one, is we have the experience. So now what Apple People is going to provide you with is exposure to many different things throughout the semester. You'll get to do community service, you'll get to do host families, you get to do a lot of different things. So that's the exposure part. Then during your trip, some of you might choose or are very good at learning through doing. Some of you really are very visual. Some others really like to observe others do it. Some others like to ask and get an information. I don't know how many of you like to read like the instructions for some things. I know people that would open something and would not use that thing for like a week until they know every little thing on that little book. Some others are like, oh, this thing never worked. Did you read the manual? Not really. All right? But we all learn differently, and that's okay. So ideally, we should be gaining knowledge throughout the semester. Then at the end, we would love for you to learn to apply this, whatever you learn, whatever knowledge you gain, we would love for you to be able to apply it into your community, the world, etc. Now, the one key word here, and this is what I was talking about earlier, you could go through a whole semester without learning a thing. The experiences will be there. If you apply the next step, you'll be able to at least gain as much knowledge as possible. And that is called reflection. So, what we will continue talking about today is a model of learning that we call experiential learning. We call it experiential learning cycle. Many of you actually chose this program because you probably are attracted to the idea of being somewhere and learning something. So I'm going to get you working in just a little bit. But I want to walk you through the cycle, okay? Hang in there. I see a couple people that are like, oh my God, you listen. Just spice it up. I don't know. I can't dance for you, but just move it up, right? Lift up your spirit. Stay with me. Okay. All right. I can feel you. Let's go to the next slide. So the experiential learning cycle. The first thing is you have an experience, and we're going to do it over here too, okay? So I have an experience. I'm going to travel around the world. You know, I'm going to have a lot of different things that are going to happen to me. Throughout that time, I'm going to experience different feelings. All right? Just that I feel excited about meeting my family. I felt nervous about making new friends. I felt excited to dance, or maybe very nervous to sing, etc. Through that experience, say you go to Mexico, so you learn a lot about the Mexican culture. And you learn about certain stereotypes, whether they're true or not, so you learn a little bit more about them. I won't pick on the Mexicans too much. Are you with me? Good. All right, so over here you make a lot of generalizations about probably what Mexico is like, what Mexican food really tastes like, whether people in Mexico are on time or not. I won't really answer that much. But those are questions that probably you have in your mind, and through experience you might be able to answer. And then eventually, you'll be able to apply that experience going to the next step, okay? Now, I think wouldn't it be just fabulous if we always did this with everything we have in our life? However, I have bad news for you. We don't really do this all the time. Like, how often do you stop and go, wait a minute, I just had an experience. Let me think about my feelings. Let me see what else can I do. I just realized this. Can you hear me better? Is it better? All right. I'll just talk louder. So how often do you really sit down, like, let me take down a couple of generalizations and lessons that I can learn, and now next time, oh, here comes the experience. Nobody ever tells you what the experience is coming. It just gets to you, like, oh God, you know, you're just there in the middle. So, an example that I always like using, another example, a very simple one. You are at a restaurant. The waiter comes to you.